Sometimes, you wake up in the morning and go about your day, completely unaware that someone, somewhere, is planning a crime so strange it almost sounds made up. But in 2017, for two young women, let's call them Siti and Doan, that's exactly what happened. They stumbled into what they believed was a simple prank show gig, and it led to one of the most unsettling assassinations of our time. But I want to walk you through the full picture. How these two women got dragged into a conspiracy they never saw coming, who orchestrated it, and why a dictator decided to eliminate his own brother.
A new day, a new twist in the saga surrounding the death of Kim Jong-nam.
Investigators in Malaysia have arrested a suspected female secret agent in this James Bond-style hit.
One of the suspects, an Indonesian woman, told police she thought she was taking part in a harmless prank as part of a reality TV show.
If convicted, the two women may pay with their lives.
Well, one thing is clear, this is one of the most bizarre murder plots in decades.
Siti was from Indonesia. Doan was from Vietnam. Neither had an easy life. They were doing their best to earn a living, waiting tables, massaging clients, even escort work, jobs that often don't pay well and can carry serious risks. So imagine for a moment you're in their shoes, a little desperate, definitely open to any chance to leave that old life behind. One evening, Siti meets a friendly stranger in a bar who calls himself James. In another city, D meets a man named Mr. Y. Both men pitch the same brilliant-sounding opportunity. We're creating a hidden camera show for YouTube and TV. It's like a prank channel, except we'll pay you $100 to $150 every time you play a joke on someone.
Itu lucu-lucuan gimana ya, terkenal kayak boom prank. Jadi saya juga mikirnya, oh ya udahlah gitu.
To these women, $100 a prank might as well have been gold bars. No resume needed, no strings attached. Better yet, they didn't have to do anything sinister. Just silly little stunts like dabbing lotion on strangers' faces or spraying water in a hotel lobby. What neither woman realized was that James and Mr. Y weren't YouTubers or talent scouts. They were undercover North Korean agents on a mission. Their boss? Kim Jong-un, leader of a secretive and oppressive regime with a track record of silencing enemies, foreign and domestic. Why did they target these two unsuspecting women? Well, Siti and Doan had few resources, little support, and a dream of making it big. Perfect candidates for a ruse so bizarre that even cops would have trouble believing it. For weeks, Siti and Doan rehearsed pranks that felt completely harmless. Hotel lobbies, shopping malls, random streets. Each time they'd approach someone, smear a bit of harmless goo, giggle, then dash away to wash their hands. No harm, no foul, just some weird content for the show. Friends recall Siti being thrilled she could send extra money back home. Doan texted her family that she'd found a really fun job. Neither had any suspicion. Yet, behind the scenes, the so-called producers were preparing for something far more dangerous, a lethal substance known as VX.
So what exactly is VX? It is the most powerful nerve agent ever created.
A nerve agent so potent it's classified as a weapon of mass destruction. They'd been training these women to do the exact motion they needed to carry out an assassination. Two substances on two separate hands, which remain harmless until combined. Let's talk about the man they were meant to kill. Kim Jong-nam, the older half-brother of Kim Jong-un. By birth order, Kim Jong-nam should have been next in line to lead North Korea. But his reputation took a hit when he got arrested trying to sneak into Japan for a trip to Disneyland of all places. His father was furious and eventually passed the torch to Kim Jong-un instead. That didn't mean Kim Jong-nam was off the hook. He openly criticized his younger brother's rule, sometimes hinting that he could topple the regime if given the chance. And word on the street was that he had connections with foreign intelligence. If you're a paranoid dictator, that's more than enough reason to put him on your must-eliminate list. On February 13, 2017, at Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia, Kim Jong-nam was checking in for a flight. He likely felt safe. He was in public. People were everywhere. and the last thing he expected was a sneak attack with a nerve agent. Over at a nearby coffee spot, Siti sat with Mr. Chang, another alleged producer. He handed her some oily liquid that smelled different from the usual practice stuff. Elsewhere in the terminal, Dee received a similar cloth soaked in an oily fluid. Both women followed instructions and walked toward their target. They never stopped to question why they suddenly had to do this at a massive international airport. In the blink of an eye, Siti sneaks up behind Kim Jong-nam, covers his eyes, smears the oily substance across his mouth. Before he can react, Doan is there too, rubbing the cloth on his face. To anyone watching, it might have looked like an awkward prank. Some might even roll their eyes. But seconds later, Kim Jong-nam began to sweat and squint, his world turning hazy. That lethal combination of chemicals was already seizing his nervous system. He stumbled toward the airport clinic, desperate for help, his heart pounding. The doctors tried to save him, but VX is ruthless. Within minutes, he was gone. Authorities scrambled. Cameras around the airport captured every move. The women applying something to a man's face and then rushing to wash their hands. Unsurprisingly, the police tracked them down. The big twist? Siti and Doan had no clue they'd just murdered someone, let alone the half-brother of a dictator. Both were arrested, charged with murder, and slapped with the possibility of the death penalty. At first, Siti literally thought she was still part of a prank. She couldn't wrap her head around the fact that the comedy gig turned out to be a state-sponsored assassination. Malaysian police quickly suspected North Korea. The exotic chemical weapon, the high-value target, the swarm of North Korean operatives suddenly leaving the country right after the incident, it all pointed in one direction. But James, Mr. Y, and the others had fled. No arrests made. No justice for the real masterminds. Eventually, behind-the-scenes diplomacy kicked in. Indonesian officials lobbied for Siti's release. They called in favors, hinted at souring relations if Malaysia didn't listen. It worked. Malaysian prosecutors dropped the murder charge against Siti with almost no explanation. She was sent home on a private jet. Doan had no such political backing. She endured a few more agonizing weeks in prison before prosecutors offered her a deal. Plead guilty to a lesser charge and skip the noose. She agreed, served a shorter sentence, and was finally freed. In the end, it's painfully clear how easy it can be to become a pawn in someone else's game. Siti and Dee wanted better lives. That's it. What do you think? Comment below. I want to know your opinion about this matter. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more of these kinds of videos. Thanks for watching.